Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. How we doing today? I never quite know. Stream could not be created. No! Oh, wait, there we go. YouTube is glitching out. YouTube is having some serious issues. Wow. YouTube gave me this stream cannot be created error. That was bizarre. I don't know what that was about. Wow. That was very weird. All right. Whatever. All right. Let me get TikTok going. That was totally bizarre, but okay. Weirdness. All right. There's TikTok. Actually, TikTok, I'm kind of tempted. Hold on. Just for fun. I'm going to hate using these lights. I don't like using these lights. They do fill in more, though. I don't like using these lights because they're very expensive. I mean, they're kind of like halogen or whatever the old power thing is, but they do fill in the light a little bit for my kitchen, which is good. Anyway, hello, TikTok. We got everybody now. TikTok, YouTube, Discord. Woo-woo. My Gatorade. Whoa. The volume is where it's always been, Tara. You need to go and find the volume settings. One of the mods or somebody might be able to help you, but that's something on your end that changed. The volume's the same position it's always been. But there's a setting on YouTube, God only knows. On YouTube, I have no idea why. Oh, the mic on TikTok, that might help. On YouTube, no clue. The volume setting is on Discord, but on YouTube, nothing should have changed. Exactly. TikTok. There we go, TikTok. All right, TikTok better at least. Thank you, T-Bone, Elizabeth, Oscar. On YouTube, is the volume the same for everybody else as it was? That's what I was wondering. Yeah, Tree. Yeah, Elizabeth, not sure. There's no way you can adjust the setting? I don't know why it would have changed. Or was it Tara? I'm saying Elizabeth. I don't even know what I'm saying here. Whoever. Tara, sorry. Hello, everybody. All right. Okay, everyone else is sounding good. At least that's good. Anyway, so welcome, everybody. I'm John Aravosis. This is my show. Happy Friday, all. Dealing with another massive meltdown of the stock market today. We're going to talk about several Trump things, including the impending doom of the economy. There's some Ukraine news. I went through, as always, there isn't a ton of Ukraine news, but there's about 6 or 7 stories. None of them are huge, but there's 6 or 7 stories, so we'll talk about those. But we'll start with talking about Trump tanking the U.S. economy. No tanks. The stock market, again, kind of crashed today in the U.S., down 5%. Specifically, the S&P 500 was down almost 6%, 5.97. That's really bad. Those are the 500 top companies in America, down 6%. The NASDAQ was pretty much down 6% as well. The NASDAQ are the tech companies. It was down 5.82. This is horrific. This, by the way, today was one of the 4 worst days in U.S. stock market history. And the thing is that Donald Trump did this on purpose. That's what's kind of amazing. He actually, something very interesting with Trump today. Actually, I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to get a few more people because the TikTokers kind of come in slowly, as do the YouTubers. I'm going to get to the Trump story next. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's see. And by the way, I would be very careful, guys. Harry, you're about to get banned, just so you know. Don't go talking about crypto during my lives. We don't allow it because there's too many scammers that come on. So I would be extremely careful about giving any financial stuff because the mods will boot you so fast, especially crypto, your head will spin. So don't do it. Thank you, Mary. Oh, hey, Marion. Good to see you. And wonderfully generous gift of you. So, stock market crash. That's okay. Just to be careful, I'm saying, because sometimes those are we had a lot of people yesterday that looked like they were scamming. They were doing market stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Just be careful, please. So welcome, guys. So today we're going to talk about Ukraine second. There is Ukraine news. There's not a ton. But we're going to start talking about the U.S. and the markets again because we are at risk of a global economic meltdown thanks to Donald Trump. It's big news. We got to talk about it. U.S. stock market, again, went down 6% today, practically 6%. That is horrific. Yesterday, it went down around 5 or 6%. That's 10 to 12% in 2 days. That's horrific. Down significantly more since Trump became president. As I said, today in the U.S. stock market, it was one of the 4 worst days in stock market history. And again, on purpose. China, things got even worse today for a couple of reasons. One, China announced its own tariffs against the U.S. A lot of countries are being careful. Like a lot of U.S. trade partners have been basically, I think they're wrong, have been scared. Like the Europeans, the Australians, they're going, well, we're not going to respond. We're not going to hit America with tariffs. Honestly, you should hit us with tariffs. You should hit us with bigger tariffs than we put on you, to be honest. But they're not. They're kowtowing to Trump. I don't quite understand why people do this, but they do. But the what was I going to say with this? China. So China hit us back today. China hit us back with 34% tariffs. The U.S. hit China with 34% tariffs. So they got even. As I said yesterday, the overlay of why the market went down today, China hit us back. That's very bad. It's very bad for U.S. businesses. The U.S. was already in trouble because of Trump's tariffs. Trump is basically sending us into a recession this year. According to all the top economists, if Trump does not rescind his tariffs that he announced yesterday? 2 days ago, right? 2 days ago, we're going into a recession. We also are going to have significant inflation because Trump just put a tax on almost every single good coming into America from every country in the world. He's put a tax on it. That means Amazon. Do you ever buy things on Amazon? Prices are going to go up horrifically. Do you buy things from Wayfair? Do you buy things on those Chinese websites? What are they? Temu, and I can't pronounce them. I don't really care how to pronounce it. Temu and Shimu or whatever the hell the other one is. Those prices are going up. Actually, those prices are going up horrifically. The Trump people said they're going to either charge like, what was it, 30% or something crazy, or $25 per item you buy now. There's going to be a tax if you buy from, I know Temu, but I can't pronounce it. Shimu, whatever the hell it is. There's two of them though. One is Temu and the other one is starts with an S. No, Shine. There you go. I was going to say, I knew there was a second one. I like Shimu though. It reminds me of the killer whale, whatever that was. Remember when we were kids? So that's bad with China. Trump did something very politically stupid today, as only Trump can do. But it really is. I think we are witnessing, okay, put aside for a moment the fact that Donald Trump is risking sending our economy and the world economy into a serious recession, which is very scary. High inflation, high unemployment, recession as well. I mean, which is scary stuff because the economists have already said we are going to have a recession this year in America if Trump doesn't stop doing this, if he doesn't get rid of the tariffs. Put that aside. Trump, I think, has made a huge mistake. It was one thing for Trump to basically cut all aid to Africa and basically let people die, which he did, right? And Elon as well, of course, because Elon's the lead on this, but of course it's Trump letting him do it. To cut all American aid to people with AIDS, to cut all American aid to people who are literally starving around the world. That's one thing. But I think a lot of the selfish people in our country look at that and they kind of go, it doesn't affect me, right? Trump cutting all the government agencies, even Trump messing around with Social Security. He hasn't yet impacted their Social Security checks. He's messing around with Medicare now too, but he hasn't yet impacted their Medicare checks, right? And their Medicare coverage. So I think so far Americans were going, Trump is doing a lot of horrible things, but it doesn't affect me. Well, now your stock market portfolio just dropped 20%. Your retirement portfolio just dropped 20% because of Donald Trump. Still not affecting you? Americans don't like that. Prices are about to go through the roof. By the way, Americans voted Joe Biden out of office because inflation was at 3%. Guess what's going to happen under Trump? He put 40% tariffs on goods coming from Vietnam. That's Nike. Okay? He put 34% tariffs on goods coming from China. That's like almost everything we buy in America. I was showing you guys yesterday the lock that I bought, the little lock for my key to put on my balcony so I can get back in, made in China. Everything in this country is made in China. People are going to be in for a very big surprise. So anyway, Trump today, rather than saying, oh, the market will be fine, right? He didn't intend for the market to go down. They're just freaking out. Don't worry about it. Trump today owned it and said he tanked the stock market 20% on purpose. I kid you not. Trump tweeted today on his, he's got his own social media service, Truth Social, whatever it's called. I'm just going to call it tweeting because it's easier. But he tweeted today a tweet that said, it was a video actually, he tweeted approvingly saying Trump is purposely crashing the market. Actually, I'm going to show you this. This was a copy of the tweet Trump tweeted today. Trump is purposely crashing the market. So in other words, obviously he's not tweeting it because he disagrees with it. Here you go at the bottom. He's tweeting it because he agrees with it. Trump, first of all, admitted he was intentionally crashing the stock market. Okay. Second of all, the video goes on to say, the video itself that he tweeted says Trump intentionally crashed the stock market by 20%. So the 20% drop in the stock market was intentional by Trump. Now, let's put that aside for a second. The funny thing here, the reason Trump tweeted this and basically owned it and said, oh yeah, I did it on purpose, I crashed the stock market, because somebody created a fake video. And of course, Trump tweeted the fake video. It's a fake video. It's already been disproven, of Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett already came out and said the video is a fake. I never said that. He goes, this is horrible what Trump is doing. Well, the video claims that Warren Buffett, who is a very famous American industrialist, famous billionaire, very smart businessman. A lot of people really respect his business acumen. And the video claims falsely that Warren Buffett claimed that Donald Trump tanked the stock market by 20% on purpose, and it was brilliant what Trump did. Well, Buffett never said it, but Trump retweeted it approvingly. Trump is admitting that he crashed the stock market by 20% on purpose. And that is the dumbest thing you could ever do to admit. Having said that, Trump gets away with stuff like this. Democrats tend not to, but Trump gets away with stuff like this. He may get away with this admission. I don't know, though, because I got to tell you, all of us are looking. I mean, again, my portfolio, I didn't even look. I looked yesterday. It was down 6%. Today, I'm sure it's down another 6%. It's got to be. It's got to be at least 6%. I lost 12% in 2 days. I mean, that's not even a recession. That's an economic crisis. That's like what happened during COVID when we all watched as our stocks just collapsed. That's a collapse in the stock market, right? That's not just, oh, stocks are down. When they drop this much in 2 days in a row. Now, the problem is, I mean, Cody asked, will it affect me as an Australian? Yeah, unfortunately, because the problem is this stuff is now threatening the world economy. He is threatening to turn the world economy into a recession. That affects Australia. Why does it affect Australia? Because all of our economies are interconnected. This is the problem with trade, right? All of our economies are interconnected. If the U.S. economy goes into a recession, Americans become poorer. Americans don't have money. American businesses lay off Americans, which we're already starting to do. Those Americans who don't have money stop buying things. All those goods that America buys from Australia, we're not going to buy anymore. We're not going to buy a lot of them because we're going to be in a recession and we won't be able to afford it. Other countries, the same thing is going to happen. All the tariffs we're putting on the other countries is going to, also, by the way, we put tariffs on Australia. The tariffs we put on Australia are going to decrease the number of Australian goods sold in the U.S. When prices go up, demand goes down. So there's a couple different, the tariffs themselves will directly affect each of your economies, but also globally, what Trump is doing is threatening to basically crash the global economy, which will mean all of our economies will go down potentially. So yeah, it's very bad. He did not put tariffs on Russia, Belarus, or North Korea. That is correct. SPK. He didn't pick them, but he picked everybody else. What else we got here? Trump's plan. We talked about this the last few days, and I'm starting to think more and more this is what's going on. 1 second. It looks like Trump's plan here. I like this. Globetrotter asks, am I an economist? Nope, just highly educated, studied economics in graduate school, international relations, and master's in law degree from Georgetown. And we studied international economics and international trade, among other things. And, you know, I read, as I told the doctor once when he was asking me, when I was asking him medical questions about my family member, and he goes, are you a doctor? I said, no, I just read. So any case, so the Federal Reserve. So Trump appears to be doing all of this, I think, because he's trying to force the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. He's trying to create a bit of, I think he might be trying to create a bit of a crisis, an economic crisis that makes the Federal Reserve say, oh my God, this is dangerous, right? We're at risk of having a recession. We've got to lower interest rates to make sure we don't have a recession. The problem is the Federal Reserve came out today and said, no, we're not going to lower interest rates right now. No, we're going to wait. Why would Trump want the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates? Because when you lower interest rates, it revs up the economy. Trump wants a revved up economy. Trump wants growth rates. Biden had a great economy. Trump wants a better economy than Biden. Obama had a great economy. Trump wants a better economy than Obama, right? He wants to have U.S. economic growth be even higher. And one way to do that is to lower interest rates. It's a surefire way. The problem is when you lower interest rates, you also increase inflation. And the Federal Reserve has said repeatedly, they're still worried about inflation. It was just getting under control under Biden. But now that Trump came in with the tariffs, all bets are off. So I think Trump is trying to basically cause a little bit of an economic crisis, make a recession, like all the guys yesterday, right? All the economists yesterday, guys and gals, who said that the U.S. was destined for a recession now because of what Trump did with tariffs. Trump was hoping that would make the Federal Reserve go, recession's coming. We're going to lower interest rates to stop a recession and watch the U.S. economy soar. Well, Chairman of the Federal Reserve came out today and said, nope, we're not cutting interest rates. I can read you his quotes, but basically he said it's too soon. He said, listen to this. He said, this is the chairman of the Federal Reserve. It is now becoming clear that the tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. The same is likely to be true of the economic effect. So the economic impact of the tariffs is going to be bigger than the Federal Reserve planned, which will include higher inflation and slower growth. So the Federal Reserve, which controls our monetary policy, they control our interest rates, came out today and said Trump's tariffs are going to lead to more inflation and lower economic growth. Surprise. He goes on to say that because of Trump's tariffs, inflation will rise in the near term, but it could become sticky. So he not only said inflation's going to go up because of what Trump is doing, it might stick, meaning we may be stuck with this inflation. It's not just, it's coming temporarily. Thank you, Mustard. Thank you, Ikram, for the gifts. Keep the gifts coming, guys. I do this for free. Your gifts help pay the bills, so keep them coming. Thank you. A little more from Powell. Powell acknowledged that inflation is rising and the economy is slowing, but it's not clear yet what policy moves. This is from CNN. It's not clear yet what policy moves the Fed needs to make in response, if any. He says, to me, it's not clear at this time what the appropriate path for monetary policy will be. And we're going to need to wait and see how this plays out before we can. So what happened was, thank you for that. Who was that? Oh, the chocolate. Thank you, Amanda. What happened was Trump was hoping to force the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. Trump even came out earlier today and demanded that the chairman of the Federal Reserve lower interest rates. And the chairman of the Federal Reserve came out and said, no. He said, no, it's too soon. Now, what I think is going through his head is, and I talked about this before, I don't want to go through it all because the economics I think is confusing, but it's an important point. Trump has put the chairman of the Federal Reserve in a bad position. Interest rates, you all know, are a key way of juicing the economy, of fixing inflation, all sorts of things. The problem is the Federal Reserve is in a bad spot right now because of Trump. We are looking at increased inflation because of Trump's tariffs, and we are looking at lower economic growth. So recession and inflation because of Trump's tariffs. The problem is when you've got a recession, when the economy slows down, you lower interest rates, and that helps the economy pick up. When you've got inflation and prices go up, you raise interest rates, and the prices come down. But I just told you two different things. I said we've got a recession where you should lower interest rates, and we have inflation where you should raise interest rates. So which one do you do when you've got inflation and recession expected to come at the same time because of Trump's tariffs? The Federal Reserve doesn't know what to do, because if they do one, they make the other. So if they try to fix the recession, they're going to make inflation out of control. If they try to fix inflation, they're going to push us into a deeper recession. That's why I think we've got the Federal Reserve chairman today saying, we're in a sort of a difficult spot, and I'm not really sure what we're going to do yet. We're going to wait and see. So Trump, again, kind of screwed up because he was hoping the Federal Reserve today was going to say, yes, we will lower interest rates. And the Federal Reserve chairman said, no, we're not. Little more here. The Yale Budget Lab. Thank you. Who is that? Marsha, for the gift. The Yale Budget Lab, a new analysis from the Yale Budget Lab found that Trump's overall tariffs could cause price levels to rise 2.3% in the short term. Inflation right now is around 3%. That means it would rise to over 5%, but that's not small. I mean, that's not a small amount when you're going from 3%. That would translate into an average loss of $3,800 in purchasing power per household per year. So what they're talking about is that basically things would become, in terms of household, what an average household spends every year on all the things they buy, the price would go up $3,800 per household. The amount of things you would buy every year, you'd have to pay $3,800 more a typical household. Who's got that? I mean, who's got that kind of money sitting around, right? The Yale Budget Lab said, these are really big tariffs. No, listen to this. Listen to this. Yale Budget Lab. Prices are going to go up, period. These are really big tariffs. These are not things we can expect companies to just absorb. So she's saying the tariffs are so large, Trump made them so big, that companies can't just eat the price increase. Because remember, a tariff is a tax on a good when it crosses the border. So what Trump did is Trump put a tax on almost every single thing from every country that enters the U.S. 95% of our olive oil comes from abroad. Trump just taxed it, right? Our cars, 50 to 60% of every car made in America has parts from abroad. 50 to 60%, I should say 50 to 60% of the parts in every American car come from abroad. Trump just put a tax on those, 25%. He put a tax on everything. And the problem becomes when U.S. car companies have to now pay 25% tax at the border for all those parts they import to make U.S. cars. Are they going to eat that? Are U.S. car companies going to say, oh, well, price of the car just went up 25%. Oh, well. Or are they going to sit there and say, we're going to share some of the cost with you guys? What this woman at the Yale Budget Lab is saying, at Yale University, the economist there, is saying that it is so high that the Trump's tariffs are so large that the U.S. companies will not have a choice but to pass the cost along to us in terms of higher prices and inflation. Lynn says, U.S. gets most of its chocolate from Canada. Is that true, actually? Is that true, Lynn? Thank you for the gift, by the way. Is that actually true? We get a lot of chocolate from Canada? I wouldn't have thought that. First of all, we make a lot of really bad chocolate ourselves. So I sort of assumed, I mean, we've got some good chocolate like Ghirardelli, but a lot of our chocolate's pretty bad. I didn't know we got it from Canada. Is some of the bad stuff from you guys as well? Yeah, this is bad. This is very bad, guys. Let's hang a few minutes and talk a little more about the economy, and then we'll switch over to. I've got a little bit more U.S. news that I can share with you as well. Actually, several U.S. news stories about Trump, and then we'll switch over to a little bit of Ukraine. But we can talk about the tariffs and everything a little bit more right now if people want to. People are sharing their favorite chocolates. This is cute. Is Trump going to levy 68% tariffs against China in response? Dave is asking. He claimed he was going to. Trump claimed he was going to. If any country dared respond and raise their tariffs against us, we would double the tariffs against them. He can try, but China seems to be the only country so far that has the nerve to stand up to Trump. And if Trump raises tariffs again on China, I hope the Chinese raise them back. I really do. Somebody needs to stand up to him. Again, it's bad. I would rather not see bad things happen to my economy. Thank you, Cindy, for Fortune Kitty. But somebody needs to stand up to him. But if he does do that, it's going to be very dangerous for all of our economies globally if he does this. Russia, nothing's happening to Russia. Trump didn't put any tariffs on Russia because, they're his friends. So Russia got nothing. All of America's friends got tariffs. Russia got no tariffs. Nor did Russia's friends, Belarus and North Korea. All of Putin's friends were exempt. Isn't that nice? Yeah. That was very sweet. Thank you. Who's the dog? Oh, boxing gloves. Thank you, Marsha, for the boxing gloves. Oh, D8, puppy kisses, or date. Oh, date. I'm going to call you Date Tonic. Thank you for the gifts, guys. Yes, Rowan said he put tariffs on 2 islands not inhabited by humans. 2 islands that apparently are made up of a bunch of penguins. So that was interesting. Somebody did an actual cartoon, not a cartoon. They did a Photoshop of the penguins from the island sitting on the chair in the Oval Office, like the Zelensky photo, when you had J.D. Vance beating up Zelensky, and it had the penguin sitting there instead of Zelensky. It was but the penguin was being sassy. It was very funny. I don't know that we get much from Russia. The bigger problem is, I don't know that we get much from Russia at this point. I don't know. I'd have to say, I don't think we get much from Russia. But of course, that's not the point. right? He put tariffs on penguins. He put tariffs on a deserted island of penguins, and he didn't put it on Russia. North Korea. Now, North Korea, we don't buy anything from North Korea. Fair enough, right? What do we buy from North Korea? Literally nothing. I'm assuming it's literally nothing. Russia, we probably get something, I'm going to guess. And I'm trying to think. I can ask Google. Hey, Google, does the U.S. import anything from Russia? Google may go back a couple of years.
Reuters.com, they say, cautious note, despite a sharp reduction in trade, Russia supplied $1.3 billion worth of fertilizer to the U.S. in 2024, according to the UN's Farm Trade database, ranking as the second biggest supplier after Canada. Fertilizer exports to the U.S. have escaped sanctions, but some are already...
Russia supplies $1.3 billion a year to the U.S. in fertilizer, second only to Canada. Oh, did not know that. Interesting. Oh, that is very interesting. Okay, did not know that. Okay. But we probably don't buy much overall. Right, potash, I'm assuming, because that's what we get from Canada. Yep. Very interesting. Wow. Do follow me on TikTok, by the way, and YouTube and Discord. Well, Discord, there's no way to follow, but you're there anyway. But YouTubers and Discordians and TikTokers, please do follow me. Yeah, he's playing chess. I love when people say, Donald, I'm sure you're joking, but when people say Trump is playing chess, I would love somebody to go, Mr. Trump, do you play chess? Because he doesn't. And B, he'd lie about it. So then you'd kind of say, could you maybe name 5 of the pieces? I mean, I'd play chess, but I'd have to think for a second and be like, okay, rook, pawn, queen, king, knight. I'm forgetting bishop. Are there other pieces? I'm trying to remember. I guess I was able to come up with the pieces. Fair enough. Trump would be like, yeah, shoots and ladders. Exactly, Devin. Right. Trump would go, the little guy with the cigar and the hat. You're like, no, that would be Monopoly. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, Trump would say, I could name every checkers piece. Every piece. Very smart. Very smart. So, oh my. Anyway, all right, let me give a little more of the U.S. news happening today. Yep, shoots and ladders, although it shoots like a closed shoot. A little more news. Stephen Miller went crazy. Stephen Miller is one of Trump's top aides. He's a troubled boy. Let's put it that way. He called a U.S. judge a Marxist for basically overruling Donald Trump. This is what these guys do. They don't believe in our democracy. They don't believe in the American system of government. Stephen Miller certainly doesn't. So that any judge that actually defends the U.S. Constitution is a Marxist to him, which I think is a really screwed up sense of what Marxism is. But I'm no fan of Marxism, but it's also a very screwed up. Thank you, Turtle. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you, Turtle, again. It's also a very screwed up sense of what American democracy is about. These guys seem to be very offended at democracy, and they seem to be very offended by the sort of balance of power in the U.S. and I'm spacing out. What do you call it? I said balance of power. It's not really the balance of power, but the equivalence between the 3 branches of government we have, between our judicial, the legislative, and the executive, that they're co-equal branches, the checks and balances. Thank you, Keegan. Checks and balances, the co-equal branches of government. Although the president is stronger in some ways, not really. Each one is able to trump the other, no pun intended, if they get out of line. And the Trump people find that very offensive. But anyway, they got pissed off because you may have heard about this story. The Trump people accidentally, what did they do? Deported some guy to El Salvador and to these notorious prisons in El Salvador that they basically torture people. And Trump deported this El Salvadoran guy from Virginia or Maryland, who, by mistake. And they claimed he was a gang member. Now they're saying, oops. And first of all, again, you're deporting people who have been in our country, legally at this point, I guess. But because of an error, they kicked him out. They sent him to be tortured in El Salvador. There's also a gay barber they sent to El Salvador to be tortured as well. The gay barber is an interesting story because he came here legally. This one really pisses me off because this guy did everything he was supposed to do. He came to our country. He didn't cross the border illegally. And again, you know this. People who watches me knows I get very upset about the illegal immigration. I am no fan. I think if you come here illegally, you're in trouble, right? But this guy came here legally, gay, and he's a barber from El Salvador. He comes here legally. He comes to the border, I think in San Diego. He comes to, the U.S. border and says, I am seeking asylum because I'm, again, gay or whatever in El Salvador. They're going to kill me. He comes in and gets entered into the U.S. system, has to go to court to prove that he's got a credible case and all of this. The Trump people take him and deport him, not just deport him. They send him to that torture prison in El Salvador where he is now being tortured. He didn't commit any, he's not a criminal. They claimed he was a gang member because he had a tattoo that said mom and dad on his arms. One said mom and one said dad. That's it. And they claimed he was a gang member by mistake. And this guy who came to our country legally to seek asylum, again, he didn't cross the border illegally. He came legally. They kicked him out because they claimed falsely he was a gang member and sent him to be tortured. He had a crown on there as well. Exactly. A crown, and it said mom and dad, and that was it. Well, so now the barber, so they did this to the barber too. Not the barber. They did this to this guy in Maryland as well. And the guy in Maryland, they're saying, oh, it was a mistake, but now we can't get him back because he's in El Salvador. This was particularly obnoxious. And the judge today ordered them and said, get him back. The Trump people who are like this with El Salvador's authoritarian government. El Salvador has a wannabe dictator guy. He has done some good things for the country, I think, economically, but he's a wannabe dictator. And he's an authoritarian, which is why Trump likes him. He is also Trump's puppy. He's Trump's little dog. And if Donald Trump wants the gay barber back and Donald Trump wants the Maryland guy we sent accidentally, the president of El Salvador will send him like that. Trump hasn't asked for it. And the Trump people had the nerve to say, oh, yeah, we accidentally sent some people to El Salvador. They weren't criminals. Nothing we can do. They're already in El Salvador. Why can't you just ask the El Salvadoran government and say, my friend in El Salvador, by the way, we're way bigger than you, way more powerful economically and militarily, and you're my puppy. Would you please send those two people back? And of course, he's going to send them back. Of course, he's going to send them back. He's Donald Trump's puppy. They refused. The judge today said, you will send them back right now. You will get them back right now to the Trump people. That's why Stephen Miller is calling the judge a Marxist, because the judge said, you admitted you accidentally deported somebody who was innocent. This is the guy in Maryland, a father who was innocent, to be tortured in El Salvador because of an administrative error. Get him back. Don't just say, oops. And the Trump people say, that's Marxism. I don't know. Marxism to me sounds like when you deport fathers and gay barbers because you don't care what happens to people and you break the law and do it illegally. That sounds like Marxism. Another big story today, actually, this is a big story. Robert F. Kennedy, who, as you guys know, Trump picked a man who is a science denier. He's anti-vaccine. He also doesn't believe in a lot of science, as our top health official in America, a guy who's anti-vaccine as our top health official. And what a surprise, he's firing all the top vaccine people. He's firing, the Americans will know this, he's firing anybody who was friends or allies of Dr. Fauci, who was our top vaccine expert, our top sort of immunologist for 50 years he's with the agency. And they fired another top vaccine guy. And they did it because, listen to this, from the Wall Street Journal. The top vaccine regulator, ousted by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., said the health secretary's team sought non-existent data to justify anti-vaccine narratives and pushed to water down regulation of unproven stem cell treatments. So two things they did. This guy was forced out because Kennedy and his people tried to force him to create and publicize non-existent data casting doubt on vaccines. They wanted to promote data that would make people afraid of vaccines, but they wanted him to put out data that was false. That was the first thing. The second thing is they want to water down regulation of stem cell treatments. There are certain stem cell treatments that are not proven yet. And the Kennedy people want to water down the regulations and just let people try them, even though they're not proven safe yet. They're not proven effective, wants to do it anyway. That's why the guy was forced out because he stood up to Kennedy. Very scary stuff. What else we got? Here's another thing. I thought this was interesting too. The guy that Robert F. Kennedy just fired said he was speaking out to encourage parents to vaccinate their children against measles as cases mount in Texas and New Mexico. He urged the Trump administration to give a full-throated endorsement of the measles vaccine to prevent unnecessary American deaths. This guy, think about this. This guy he's fired by the Trump people for being our top vaccine guy. And he's publicly trying to embarrass the Trump administration. And here's the thing. He's trying to coerce the Trump people into publicly acknowledging that the measles vaccine works. That's it. That's his big demand. His big demand is he wishes the Trump people would admit that the measles vaccine works. Because the Trump people won't admit that it works. Robert F. Kennedy, we have a measles outbreak in America right now. It's happening in a bunch of southern and southwestern states where people aren't vaccinated. What a surprise. And Robert F. Kennedy a few weeks ago is talking about this outbreak. Doesn't recommend people get the vaccine. The vaccine is the number one most effective way to avoid getting measles. It's like 95% effective, something like that. Doesn't suggest people get the vaccine, or there's like two vaccines, I think, one or two depending. Doesn't suggest people get the vaccine. He suggested people drink cod liver oil to cure measles. And I'm sorry, to not get it and possibly to cure it. We talked about this the other day. Cod liver oil does nothing for measles. The reason, and this is our top health official, and when you find out why he did this, it's terrifying. He got confused. And he does this a lot. He takes little bits of information, like a little bit of truth, and then expands it into a lie. So the lie currently is what he said the other week. He claimed people who get measles, or if they want to avoid measles, should take cod liver oil. Okay, that's not what you should do. The reason he's saying this is because in Africa they found that children were malnourished, and children would get measles. And they would have a hard time fighting the measles because they were malnourished. And they were specifically malnourished with vitamin A. And if they gave them cod liver oil, it would help boost their vitamin A, which boosted their immune system. Not even boosted. It set their immune system back to normal instead of a weakened immune system and helped them fight measles. Vitamin A and cod liver oil does not fight measles. They found that the children had a deficiency of vitamin A, and therefore it impaired their immune system and made it harder for them to fight measles. That's entirely different than saying if you get measles, you should take cod liver oil. That's not true. Our top guy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., told people if you get measles, you should take cod liver oil, which is totally false. That's who these guys are. That's who Trump has picked as America's top health official. And correct, vitamin A is also incredibly dangerous. Thank you, Bren. Like a lot of vitamins, a certain quantity is necessary, but a large amount of vitamin A is actually poisonous. It's very dangerous to your system. I want to say, I'm trying to remember, if it was it lung cancer? There's some really nasty toxicity, things that can happen with too much vitamin A. It's very dangerous. Again, just to add to what he's saying. Trump fired the head of the NSA, National Security Agency, one of our top spy agencies. A general runs it. Trump just fired the general. You know why? Because a racist conspiracy theorist nut job told him to. So he did. We talked about this woman the other day. Laura Loomer, she's crazy. She's a conspiracy theorist. She thinks that 9/11, September 11th, when America was attacked and 3,000 people died, she thinks it was an inside job. It was actually the U.S. government did it. George Bush's people did it. She thinks crazily. She's crazy. She thinks that the school shootings we have in America, she falsely claimed that those school shootings we have were done by the government. They were done by anti-gun people. That basically they weren't really school shootings. They were fake. They were false flags. They were done to make gun people look bad. But the kids didn't really die. That was the other thing, that the kids didn't really die, she claimed. They were fake. These kids really died. They were horrific shootings we've had, as everybody knows. This is the woman. She's the woman who claimed that if Kamala Harris won, the White House would smell like curry or whatever she claimed. She's a racist. She admits to being a white nationalist. She's a racist. Well, during the campaign, and I mentioned this the other day, during the campaign, Trump used to bring her on his plane everywhere. She was attached to Trump like this. Well, she got a little too attached to Trump. He kept touching her. He kept hugging her. It was creepy. And people noticed it and wrote about it. And suddenly, A, she's a conspiracy nut, far-right conspiracy nut racist. And B, Trump kept touching her affectionately in public, and it was creepy. So they got rid of her. And for the last 2 months of the campaign, she was nowhere to be seen. This week, Trump invites her to the White House, to the Oval Office, and has a meeting with her. And in the meeting, she goes through all the administration officials she says are corrupt, and he fires them all. He fired 6 officials from the National Security Council because of the conspiracy nut. He fired the top of one of our lead intelligence agencies because this woman, this conspiracy nut, claimed he was a bad man. I mean, right? This is scary stuff, guys. Final story. This story made me laugh. I mean, final. We'll talk about Ukraine now next. But this story made me laugh because I could sort of see what CNN wrote it. And CNN was having a little bit of fun here. I'm going to read you the first paragraph. But I want to see if you get the fun that CNN is having with the story in the first paragraph. Let me give you some background. The guy they're talking about is the U.S. attorney, the acting U.S. attorney for D.C. He's like the top federal law enforcement guy for Washington, D.C. Thank you, Bowie, for Bowie. I can say Bowie, Maryland. Bowie for the bird. He's the top law enforcement guy for the federal government in Washington, in the Washington, D.C. region, like the state level, even though we're not a state. And he's a Trump far-right MAGA activist. And he's basically threatening everybody. He's like threatening to investigate everybody, members of Congress, Democrats. Like he's doing all of Trump's crazy bidding, right? So that's who the guy is. He's been literally threatening, I'm going to jail members of Congress for being anti-Trump and this kind of garbage, right? So that's who the guy is. He's this far-right MAGA nut. Listen to this. CNN. The acting U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C. said today in a memo obtained by CNN that his office is investigating leaks that took place during the January 6th prosecutions as part of his ongoing probe into the massive effort into the massive effort the office oversaw. Okay, CNN cannot write. Whoever wrote this was a child at CNN who doesn't know grammar. I'm going to translate it into English for you. The acting U.S. attorney in Washington, D.C. said today in a memo obtained by CNN that his office is investigating leaks that took place during the January 6th prosecutions. So these guys, first of all, are trying to undercut the January 6th investigations because Trump pardoned all the terrorists. All the people who tried to violently overthrow our government on behalf of Donald Trump, Trump pardoned them because Trump thinks it's okay, right? So he's trying to undermine the investigations. Trump has threatened to throw members of Congress in jail for investigating him. But what CNN did right here, which I think is hilarious, CNN says they got a memo of the guy complaining about leaks. So CNN published the details of the memo where the guy says he's prosecuting leaks. You get it? The memo was leaked about the leaks. I think it's very funny. Right? I mean, can you imagine you write a memo saying, I'm pissed off about the leaks and I'm investigating everybody. And one of your staffers goes, okay, we got to leak this memo. This is great. And they link it to CNN. Pretty freaking funny. Pretty freaking funny. Man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Anyway. Yeah. So very bad. So Ukraine, it is day 1,134 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation in Ukraine. The Russians, really bad attacks overnight. The Russians killed 14 people, including 6 children, with a missile strike on Kryvyi Rih, which is Zelensky's hometown. Putin has this thing where he likes to attack a small town where Vladimir Zelensky's from, because that way he's hurting Zelensky. and they've been just terrorizing. It's a little town. It's an insignificant town. It doesn't matter strategically. Up to 9 children, Courtney's saying. 9 children were killed last night by the Russians because they just wanted, again, there's nothing military to go after in that town. Putin is blowing up the town because it's Zelensky's hometown. That's it. Very sick. Sky News, it seems, this was interesting. Sky News says that Trump's tougher rhetoric lately towards Russia might actually be working. It seems some of the U.S.'s tougher rhetoric may have gotten through to the Kremlin. In an interview with Fox News, Putin's investment envoy, Kirill Dmitriev, said late on Thursday that Russia might consider security guarantees in some form. So security guarantees are basically Trump doesn't care, but the allies are saying, the French and the Brits especially, we've got to figure out some way of guaranteeing the Russians don't invade Ukraine again, and we need guarantees that NATO will get involved. If the Russians do, we'll come to Ukraine's help. And the Russians have said no, and now the Russians are going, okay, well, maybe, because they realize that what's happening now is the French and the Brits are like this close to agreeing. I mean, they've already agreed, but this close to reaching an agreement with the Ukrainians to put French and British troops on the ground, along with troops from maybe 30 other countries that would be there to stop the Russians from invading again. And the Russians do not want that. Hey, iBully, thank you for the gift. iBully says, is it just me, or does January 6th seem a lot like the beer hall push? Okay, I am forgetting. I know the name, but I'm forgetting what the beer hall putsch. It's actually putsched, like P-U-T-S-C-H, as I recall. What is the beer hall putsch in Germany? This is Germany, World War II, pre-World War II, of course. Let me pull it up. Beer hall putsch. Putsch. I can never pronounce it correctly. Putsch. P-U-T-S-C-H. Good for us to know our history. 1 second here. The beer hall putsch, also known as the Munich Putsch, was a failed coup d'etat by NZ party leader, the guy whose name starts with an H. We try not to say his name because TikTok doesn't like that. Was a failed coup by German leader H-Man. In Bavaria on November 8th, 1923. Oh, this was during Weimar Republic. Okay, 1923. This was why he went to jail, right? Yeah, this is why he went to jail. Approximately 2,000 NZs marched on the city center, were confronted by police, which resulted in many deaths. The H-Man escaped immediate arrest, but 2 days later was arrested and charged with treason. Let me see here. Now, what they're not telling us is what was the point of it. This is actually a bad Wikipedia entry. What was the point? They planned to seize Munich and use the city as a base for a march against Germany's national government. Oh, so this was treason. Okay. So they were looking at basically seizing Munich and then using it to try to take over the rest of the country and overthrow the government. Oh, interesting. I'd always heard about it, but I never really knew what it was. January 6th. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair comparison. Thank you, PT. I mean, basically, January 6th was an effort to overthrow our government. It was an effort to say they take Congress and then they expand from there and convince Trump, and not convince Trump, Trump was behind it, that Trump would say, I'm not leaving. And that somehow they think Democrats would just give up. Well, actually, the problem, January 6th gets a lot more complicated. Part of the problem with it is that Congress has to certify the election. If enough Republicans were corrupt enough to refuse to certify the election, then who is president? If Congress doesn't certify, we don't have a president. And then Trump would have just stayed in office and said, well, I'm here, even though the Constitution says his presidency ends January 20th at noon. Trump would say, I'm here, I'm staying. And Congress, you haven't approved Joe Biden yet, so he's not coming. And that's what would have happened. It would have been a mess. It would have been an absolute mess. So anyway, a little bit more of the news here. Hang on a second. 1 second here. Oops. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio said today, or once again demanded that U.S. allies spend 5% of their GDP on defense. Again, I don't think it's a terrible idea, especially with the Russian threats. Trump will attend the NATO summit in The Hague in June. The Hague, that's kind of funny. They should keep him. Ukraine says that it is analyzing the mineral deal to see if it conflicts with the Ukrainian constitution. I think that's still the Ukrainians trying to figure out what to do. They're not sure they really want to do this deal, which I don't blame them. The Norwegian government approved an increase of $7.8 billion in Ukraine aid for 2025. That's a huge amount for a small country. Thank you, Norway. Thank you, Big Hawk and Jules as well. Keep the gifts coming, guys. And finally, this was interesting. Elon Musk's father, Errol, has expressed his admiration for Russian President Putin as a man, saying it would be foolish not to admire Putin in an interview with BBC Russia. In the interview, he said, only in time will it be possible to understand who really started Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and said he considers Putin a strong leader. It would be foolish not to admire Putin, he said. I listen to his speeches. He says logical things. If you view him simply as a man, not in the context of international politics, it's hard not to have respect for Mr. Putin. Yeah. And you wonder where Elon gets it from. Thank you, Rockstar, for the Rockstar gift, Russell. Appreciate that. Yeah, the apple does not fall far from the tree, does it? No, not in Elon's case. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it for the news. Now we hang out, but that was a little long today. Now we hang out. This is the part of the show where I adjust my camera, and we still hang and talk, but it's a little more casual. Sorry, trying to adjust my cam there. There we go. Adjusting my camera a little bit. And I'm still adjusting the lights behind the TV. I've got I got a new little light fixture. So now both lights are behind my TV next to the wall. And you guys will notice now it makes the lights very bright, which I like. For you guys, I will show you. But I put the light thing. I got a new little light fixtures, and they're now right behind the TV on the table. But that way it throws the light on the wall even when it's bright out, which is nice. So she is being quiet today. She is asleep on the couch, I think. Yes. She's so funny. She's asleep. I will show you. The dog is asleep on the couch under the pillow, which is what she likes to do, which always cracks me up when she does this. Hold on. It's very cute. It's very cute. There. I will show you briefly just because it makes me laugh. She's cute because she likes to sleep under stuff. So she's always under pillows and stuff. So she's on the couch. Oop, that's a brownie. Oh, no, that's the dog. So you will see she's on the couch, but she's under the pillow on the couch. That's her head sticking out. So her whole body's under the pillow and half of her head, which I find very cute. She's always sleeping like that. It's very sweet, but it's just very funny. Yes, very cute. So cute. Anyway, oh boy. Oh my gosh. So yes, craziness. Oh boy. Crazy. Exactly. Sasha things. Sasha news. I know I don't really have Sasha news though. The covers by, did she go on though? What do you mean, Cliff? She is cute. Mom stuff in Chicago. No news. My brother-in-law, I think, is getting it this weekend. They apologized. They said they've got 4 boxes and they apologized, which is good. So he should get it this weekend. And I told him to measure them and weigh them, which you guys had suggested for pirate ship, pirate or whatever it's called, which I use. So, oh, she did go under by herself. She always does. Oh yeah. The pillow, that was her making the pillow. She even goes under blankets. She's hilarious. She's very good at it. Sly little dog. Pitbull sleeps under the blanket. Anyway, talk about news. Anything, guys, or no? Oh, tomorrow. I'm forgetting. Tomorrow. Tomorrow is our coffee talk. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. All the paid monthly subscribers on TikTok, YouTube, Discord, Ko-fi, etc. We do our show every Saturday morning. So Saturday morning is everybody who's a monthly subscriber. We hang out and we talk. And Sunday morning are the $24.99, the $24.99 subscribers. Jens, I think that's you and Arctic and maybe nobody, and Dawn, maybe. I'm trying to remember. Or is it Flower Lady? I forget. Or both of them. But I will say I am not really up on the protest tomorrow. I vaguely heard something was going on, but I'm not really up on it. What's going on tomorrow with the I assume it's Ukraine protest, or what are they? Thank you, NJ Patman. What's the hands off what, though? You mean, is it anti-Trump? Oh, protest Elon. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'll have to see where that is. Okay. I'll have to see where that is. I should say pro-America, not anti-Trump, pro-America. Oh, interesting. Okay. Although I didn't hear about it, which doesn't bode well. Thank you for the dizzy birds, Randy Fred. I'm a little worried that I did not hear about it. So, but, that's okay. Oh, that's okay. Kind-hearted. Yeah. Sorry. Hope it was, or whatever may have happened, but glad it's cleared up. I didn't hear about it. No, which worries me a little because I'm not like, living under a rock on these issues. But yeah, I didn't hear about it at all. That's great, but I literally didn't hear about this. Okay, good. Well, good. Yeah, let me see where it's taking place tomorrow. Now, I think the weather's okay tomorrow here. Oops. There was talk of rain, but the rain I think might be first thing in the morning. It's not supposed to rain otherwise, I don't think. Let me find the weather here. Weather. Here it is. Weather tomorrow in Washington. No, it's good all day. It may rain later in the day, but otherwise it's good. Actually, and the high is going to be 74, 77. Oh my God. Well, the high keeps going throughout the day. 70 at 3 o'clock, 74 at 5, 77 at 6. That's funny. Oh, that's good. Good. God, we're still looking at 29 degrees as a low next week. That's not good. Ugh. If it gets down to 29, I'm going to have to bring some of my plants back in. I'm not thrilled about that. That's not going to be fun. Oh, well. We'll make it work for a night. But anyway, 250,000 people in D.C. I'd be very surprised at that. I hope so, Lisa. It is very difficult to get people to protest in Washington, D.C. or to get them to turn out here. Americans tend not to do that very much. I will be very surprised if they get that. That's great if they do, but I'll be very surprised. So, we'll see. People don't turn out in America for protests, generally speaking. They just don't. That's why I'd be surprised. It is incredibly difficult to get that many people to turn out for a protest here in the U.S. But you never know. I feel like it'll be 75,000 or something is my guess. It's just very difficult here. Meaning in Washington, people just don't turn out. Anyway. What else? Let me look. I will Google hands off and see what else we're seeing about the protest here online. Oh, sorry. Dog keeps waking me up. Little witch that she is. Okay, here we go. Axios. Nationwide anti-Trump movement on Saturday. Hands off is expected to be the largest single-day protest since he entered office. Well, yeah, because there's been no protest since he entered office. Why it matters. The Trump administration's wide-reaching, blah, blah, blah. More than 1,100 rallies, visibility events, and meetings were scheduled in all 50 states as of Wednesday afternoon. That's good. Organizers said they had nearly 250,000 RSVPs. Okay. That's funny. White House garden tours scheduled for Saturday were postponed in anticipation of the protests. Okay. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad they're doing it. Thank you, Sarah, for subscribing. Jeez. I yawn at you all. Well, yes, go check out the protests in your towns. Where would I spend my retirement? Isn't that the question? I don't like Washington, D.C. Thank you, Dizzy, or thank you, Randy, where I live. So hi, Sarah. I live in Washington, D.C. and do not like it. The taxes are high. It's not particularly safe. I don't particularly like the town, but I'm not sure what to do. I'd like to live abroad, but I'm not sure how to do that. You know what I mean? As an American. Thank you, Mouse. So I don't know. And then you move abroad and you don't stay in touch with your family as much. I just don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, Spain. I don't have a connection to Spain, though. I've been to Spain numerous times. It's nice, but I don't have a connection to Spain. I've got a connection to Italy. By the way, one thing I discovered the other day, which is also screwed up. I knew about this, but I was looking it up, and Italy is a problem. A number of European countries don't, because of the tax treaty with the U.S., they don't recognize Roth IRAs. Your Roth IRA in Europe, depending on the country, they're going to tax you on it. So talk about things you got to worry about. Joey, I am not officially Italian. I'm 100% Greek, but the DNA test keeps suggesting I'm part Italian. So there's a chance I'm 7% Italian, going back to like my great-grandmother, we think, or great-great-grandmother, I should say, one of them. But yeah, Roth IRAs, some European countries like Italy tax them. So it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Is there anywhere that's a must-see during a sightseeing visit to DC? You should see the White House, it depends. You should see the White House. I think in general, touring the monuments is the most interesting thing to do. I think doing it at night is even better because it's beautiful. But I think in general, the monuments are the number one things I would say, rather than, I like museums and things, but that's not my number one thing. It's going to all the monuments, and you'd spend a day going to all the monuments. But, beyond that, it's hard to say. Museums, I mean, there's a lot of great museums, but I don't know. There's a lot. It depends what you're. I mean, it could be I actually hated the Holocaust Museum, believe it or not, Walford. I thought it was poorly done, to be honest. People got pissed at me. I was like, that doesn't mean I'm opposed to the, like I'm like whatever. It's a poorly done museum. I couldn't read anything. First, everything was too small and the lighting was poor, so you couldn't read anything. A lot of the stuff wasn't real. It was copied, which pissed me off. Like the pile of shoes that were really moving, they were fake. And I'm like, you've got fake shoes from the Holocaust and you're trying to make us feel like, oh my God, look at that pile of shoes from all the people they killed, except they were fake shoes. I'm like, why couldn't you get real shoes? Like you're the DC Holocaust Museum, right? Like what is that? I double check, but I remember when I went, the shoes were fake, and there was enough stuff that was fake that I was not thrilled, but the shoes were fake, as I recall, and I was not happy. And I was like, excuse me, you can't find some rich donor to lend some real shoes to the Washington, D.C.? Or maybe you've got the fake pile and you've got one pair of the real baby shoes or something. You know what I mean? Like, but in any case, Luis, I don't think it is out of respect for the dead. I think it's incredibly, no, I really don't. I think if that might be their argument, I think it's incredibly disrespectful, right? You don't honor me if I'm killed like that by putting fake stuff out there. If that happened to me, I want my clothing all over the world sending the message. So people remember me and people remember what the bad guys did. You know what I mean? That's how you honor it. Well, no, Google it because maybe I'm wrong, but I seem to remember when I was there, the fine print on the pile of shoes was they weren't the real shoes. And I was like, come on, guys. A lot of the museum, but also the print was so small on all the exhibits, I couldn't, and this was, my God, 15, 20 years ago, and I already couldn't read it because my eyes. Like once you get over age 35, you'll never be able to read anything in that museum. No, the lighting was poor and the print was too small. And I was like, guys, come on. Like it was just, now again, I haven't been there in 15, 20 years, but I was very disappointed. I thought it was very poorly done. And they also give you like a little tag or something, like a passport with somebody's name on it. And I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be all this cool interactive stuff as you walk through. No, there isn't. Like you literally find out at the end what happened to the person or something. But I thought, oh, each place you could like tag and see where this person was. And no, it's, again, I would have done it much better, but what do you do? I expected better. Arlington National Cemetery, very good. Correct. Changing the guard, big deal. Yep. The Smithsonian's great. All of our museums are fabulous. I mean, and they're free, which is great, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's only so many artifacts to go around, but you at least share a pair of shoes with each country then for the museum. All you needed to see was one pair of real shoes. That would have done it. That would have been, have the fake pile to demonstrate and then the real pair sitting there. So people be like, whoa, right? Especially of like shoes belonging to like a little kid or something, you know what I mean? Just to emphasize to people how tragic this was, But yeah, Smithsonian's great. Sorry, we're not even talking about the news now. Sorry, TikTok. We sort of talk about whatever people want to talk about. If people want to talk about other topics, then I'm okay with that. Yeah, well, let's see. That's a good point. Dave said, is it going to continue to be free? The Smithsonian is free. Let's see if Trump starts to charge. I could see Trump I could absolutely see Trump start to charge people from other countries because other countries charge us, right? You go to the Louvre and you got to pay as an American, right? Whereas it's free here for everybody. The Smithsonian's great. It's a series of, I don't know, like 25 museums or something. It's great, but they're free. Our National Zoo is part of it. Our zoo is free, which is nice too. It's a very nice zoo, but it's free, which is really cool. TikTok. Oh yeah, TikTok. Oh shit. My first story. You know what happened? My first story today was about TikTok. And I totally forgot because we jumped into all the chaos of the economy. Trump extended the deadline for the TikTok ban by 75 days. So TikTok will not be banned tomorrow. There's another 75-day delay or whatever, because it hasn't been sold yet. We knew that. Trump doesn't want to ban it. We knew that. I mean, Trump did want to ban it. Trump was the one who came up with the TikTok ban originally, but Trump pretty much, okay, big surprise. Trump lied earlier in the week when he said, oh, we're going to have a deal by Friday. I told you guys he was making it up. He was making it up. That's what he does. I mean, it annoys me though, because I don't like people who make things up. But nonetheless, yeah. So he's extending the ban, which is good. Or not the ban, extending the ban of the ban. The postponement of the ban is extended another 75 days. So that's good. So, yep. And an infrastructure bill and everything else. Yeah. Yep. Anyway. Well, I do care. Well, we don't care this time around because it looks like it's not a real threat for TikTok to go away yet. Oh, the news, there were so many stories. I mean, bottom line person, the top news today was the economy. Stock market crashed again. Stock market's down about 6% today. It was about the same yesterday because of Trump's tariffs. The top economists have concluded that we are going to have a recession this year because of these tariffs, unless Trump removes them. Inflation is coming back, and it's coming back hard. What else? China put huge tariffs on the U.S. in response to what we did to them, which is not going to be good for the U.S. And I don't know. Those were sort of the main stories, but very bad. But yes, I forgot to say that the show is a copy of the show is saved. Well, I broadcast on YouTube, TikTok, and Discord simultaneously anyway. But also a copy of the show is always on YouTube. So you can always, even right now when I'm live, you can go on YouTube and scroll to the beginning because we're broadcasting. So you can always go and check the show out there. So coffee prices, I mean, everything's going to be a disaster. Coffee prices are going to be bad. Everything is, though. I was reading today, what was the list of, I talked about it during one of my videos on TikTok. Olive oil, 95% of U.S. olive oil is imported. Cheese, nuts, fruit, vegetables, TVs, all electronics, everything. I mean, clothing, nearly, which I did not know this, nearly 100% of the clothing we buy in America comes from abroad. Almost 100% of our clothing that we buy here comes from abroad. Everything. Trump put a tax on everything coming in. Hey, Pindos, snowy mountainous Greece. Where are you that's snowy and mountainous? My nephew is in Chania, and they can see snowy mountains there. I did go to northern Greece and passed by a beautiful little snowy town that looked like Switzerland. It was beautiful. But where are you in Greece? Puise. Puise, eh? West Thessaly. Oh, you've got snow now. Oh, I'm always amazed. I will say, I never even knew that Greece had snow. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I was in Athens back in Christmas of 1983. I was in Athens and it snowed. And I remember it was pretty cool because we got like an inch of snow or something. It was beautiful, but it was weird. But so I guess I did know that Greece got snow, but you've got Aravosis. Oh, that's nice. I knew it snowed, but I guess you don't think of Greece and snow. So like we were going through the mountain areas and but also Greece has like ski towns. There's like ski towns in northern Greece that looked like Switzerland. It's beautiful. Absolutely. I'm trying to think. See, now you got me wanting to like find a picture. Give me the name of a good Pindos. Give me the name of a good Greek town in the north. One of the ski towns that looks absolutely, like I said, that looks like Switzerland. I'm going to try to Google this, but if you give me a name, I'll look. I could do Greek ski town because literally we drove through and we went, get out of here. Ski resorts, even the idea of ski resorts in Greece. God, I'd love to go skiing. Palikari? Oh, what's Palikari? What's Palikari? I don't remember. Danthimamo Tisimeni Palikari. Pertuli. Okay, you're giving me towns. Pertuli. Okay, let me look. Pertuli. Village in Greece. Oh my God. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh, this is funny. Actually, this is, although this looks, wait, is this a real picture? Well, I guess because it's a little village with snow, it's always going to look like, it'll look like Switzerland because it's a village with snow, but it's still funny to think of that as being Greece, right? So that's Pertuli. Hold on, I'm finding more of the pictures. Diallo. Arahova. Then Arahova. Oh God, how do you spell Arahova? Okay, they're spelling it this way. That's fine. Oh, that's interesting. It's not snowy, but it's pretty. The picture I'm looking at. Oh, that's very pretty though. God, that doesn't look like Greece at all. This looks like almost it's Italy or something, That's very pretty. Sorry. Totally looks like Italy. Almost like almost a bit like, but northern Italy too, like a bit like Nice and that area. Mount Parnassus. Let's see. Mount Parnassus. Yeah, but it's not, but I'm going to see. Anyway, I was just trying to find snow pictures. We went through some little town going through northern Greece that I swear looked like Switzerland. It was ridiculous. Oh, Mount Parnassus is snow. Those are ski resorts. Okay, I see. Yes. I wanted a picture of the ski town though. Still, that's really nice. Okay, anyways, it was very nice. I can't remember the name now, but Nafplio is the most Iranian. What's Iran? I thought you said Iranian city. Or is that what you mean, Dario? Anyway, very pretty though. Yeah, so. But yeah, my nephew's in Chania in Cyprus and Pilio. Okay, don't think say Pilio. I think Norizo. But Pertoli. Does Mount Olympus have snow? I'm assuming. Italian. Italian. I'm sorry. Oh, what were you saying? What's Nafplio? Nafplio. That's it. I'm trying to remember if I've been to Nafplio. I think I have. Let me pull this up. A lot of these places I went when I was a kid and haven't been back, so I can't quite recall. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not. Wait a minute. Let me pull this up. Yeah, my nephew talks about Nafplio. My mom liked Nafplio. I don't know that I've been. I don't know. Because we would go through Peloponnesos to go visit our village and stuff. I don't recall seeing Nafplio. My nephew likes it, though. I remember him talking about it. Yeah, on the sea there. Yeah, I don't know if I've been, though. I don't know. Now everyone's picking up Greek towns to talk about. Yes, Greece is very mountainous. Well, and we're from southern Greece where it's very dry. So like northern Greece is fascinating because you go to northern Greece and you've got greenery. It's green. And as a southern Greek, it's just bizarre. You're like, oh my God. Like in southern Greece, you're just kind of used to it being very dry and olive trees and dry rocks and stuff. And, you're a German living in Greece. Ah, interesting. Andros? Enas Andros apo Andros? Apotoandros? Or Apotoandro? I don't know how you'd say that. In Turkey, there's Alanya. Oh, it's another. Is it where you can see the snow? Yeah. Well, yeah, because Mount Ararat is snow capped as well as I recall. Aptinandros. Ah, okay. Aptinandro. Imaptinandros or Imaptinandro? What would you say? Yeah, you'd say because I'd say Imapto Chicago. I wouldn't say Imapto but Chicago is the town. It's not Chicagos. Yeah, Aptinandro. Wouldn't you say? I'm trying to. That grammar always threw me, but for some reason, it's telling me to drop the S in my head. Okay. See, I'm actually very proud that I got that right because Greek is incredibly difficult. I'm told German does this too. It's got the case system that's Russian is this way, Ukrainian is this way. I find it very difficult, but I went to live in Greece for 4 months. And that's when I finally at least got a sense of the case. It's the noun changes based on where it is in the sentence. And you're like going, oh my God, what do you mean the noun changes? They literally add letters and take letters away. And it's like, oh my God. You know, when am I coming to Greece? I hope soon. I haven't been since maybe, oh my God, now maybe 15 years. Ooh, I think. So I need to go back, but I want to go back and also go to, I mean, I could have gone this time. I went to Italy instead. I could have gone to see my nephew in Greece this time. I should have, but you know, I hadn't been to Italy in a long time too. And I really miss Italy. And I hadn't been to Italy in 20 years. Greece was more like 15. So, you know, but I need to go to Greece again. Also, because we want to go, as I said, we want to go to southern Greece, just because of the, you know, the family being from there, but northern Greece, because originally we're from northern Greece. But my one side of the family, that's our famous side of the family, but we're from northern Greece, from Epirus. We're Arvanitika. And I want to go to the north and find out more about the family, see if I can find people who know the history up there. But we're talking 1700s or earlier that we were up north. So I want to, like I said, we are from, I don't always say, it's funny, I'm still careful on the broadcast. I don't know why, when I say where we're from. We are from, well, I can say, we're from Sulima, which nobody's going to know. Anodorio? It's near Kalamata. But it's a number of the Suliot, or Arvanitika, but Suliot villages. And my ancestor was the leader of the villages in the region. And a general in the war and a priest in the war, and very famous in the region. So, yeah, it depends if are you Greek or no? You'd have to, I mean, you know, villages are villages. So a lot of people wouldn't know the villages, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Pindos, just so you know, they're asking you not to use caps because a lot of times people use caps and it's kind of like screaming. So we try not to have people use capital letters just so it's not too, you're Greek American in New Jersey. Okay. Yeah, there you go. I mean, you'd have to know the region to know the villages. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Is Apple a buy now? I don't know that anything's a buy. Be careful with the stock stuff, because I do think some of the people were spamming about stocks, but I'm not feeling very oh, that's okay, Pindos. Don't worry. I'm not feeling very confident about anything right now with our economy, to be honest. So we shall see. But anyway, what else? Diallo. The name of the island nation off the coast of Italy near Rimini? Is there an island nation off the coast of Italy? Where's Rimini? Ferome? Island nation? I don't know this. Sardinia isn't an island nation, though. It's Greece. I mean, it's Greece. It's Italy. And then whatchamacallit is Malta. Malta. I wasn't thinking of that. Oh, you might mean Malta. That's true. Oh, she's on the move over there. Rimini. Where is Rimini? If Rimini's in Sicily, I don't think Rimini's in Sicily, though. No, Rimini's up by San Marino. Yeah. I don't know what the hell is anything up there? There's no island nation up there. No, not by San Marino. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything up there that would be considered any kind of an island nation or anything else. No, not that far up. Yeah, I don't think so. Malta's down south of Sicily. Yeah. Okay. You got a deal. No, wait, no. So where are you in Greece again, Pindos? I'm forgetting. Or is Pindos where you're from in Greece? Tell me again where you are. I know geography. We got into geography. Well, I let the topic go wherever. Oh, you're Maltese. We've got a couple Maltese folks who are regulars here. And then I have a very good friend in New York who's from Malta as well, Jonathan. Very nice guy. Speaks perfect English. I like to make fun of him because his English is perfect. Well, his accent's fascinating because his accent, to me, is a mixture between Italian and Scandinavian. And fascinating to me. It's you literally hear this Maltese accent in English, and it's but he also learned British English a little bit. But I hear a mixture between a little bit of an Italian sound to it and a Scandinavian sound to it, which is fascinating. Yeah. Maltese is a language, crazy language. Oh my God. crazy language. You know, yep. Yeah, I was gonna say Malta and Cyprus would be the only two little. I don't know that there's any like Liechtenstein. There isn't anything like that. Monaco, I'm trying to. There really isn't anything nearby that's like an independent, other than Malta and Cyprus, which are not really small. Well, Malta. Hey, seriously? Oh my God, get in here! What did you even find to eat? She's eating something else now. The dog. Oh my God. There are no more sticks because I did clean up all the sticks, but she always finds some things. Maltese derived from Arabic. That was my sense. It was crazy. I was looking at the language and I was like, oh my God. Like there are no words. Like I kind of speak 5 languages and I've studied 2 or 3 more. Nothing in there wasn't a single word in Maltese that I went, nothing. Like I said, it was like Arabic. Yeah. Crazy. Funny. Yeah. Just because like being so close to Italy, I'm assuming it's going to be Italian-ish or something. But I mean, the pictures of Malta are very pretty. I want to go. But yeah. My languages, we've talked about this. My French, well, okay, my Italian is pretty good. I always put Italian further down, but having just gone to Italy and I did pretty well. French, Spanish, Italian, and Greek. But my Greek used to be fluent. It's rusty. My French and Spanish are excellent. My Italian is excellent. It's not as good as French and Spanish, but it is excellent, I would say. But French and Spanish, I am comfortable saying very super fluent. Italian, I think people would say I'm fluent, but I'm on the bottom end of fluent, And my Greek was fluent. Now it's rusty, but when I go to Greece, I can get by. But it's just I don't know. I don't know enough Greek that I miss things. So like I'll understand half a conversation, but the other half I won't get. And by not getting half the conversation, then you lose everything. You know what I mean? But I'll get like half of it, but it's not enough. What about Scottish? No Scottish. I can speak Scottish. All the words I can't say on the show. The F word, the SH word. I speak Scottish. I was going to go... that would be Scottish. Did my parents send me to Greek school? Yes. Tuesdays and Thursdays, even worse than Saturdays. We'd leave regular school at 3:15 and then get driven to Greek school and be stuck there from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock every Tuesday and Thursday. It sucked. Absolutely horrific. Glossovegian. Yep. Well, what do you mean? That sculpture is nothing special. I like it, but that sculpture is simply, although for you guys, it's that one on YouTube and Discord. That is simply like a fake Mexican thing that used to be in the lobby of a bank here in Washington, D.C., Citizens Bank. That was a bank here, and the bank went bankrupt or whatever. They closed down, and a friend of mine, one of my roommates, was working there, and she got to take home I will show you. It's really, the thing is, it's funny because the bottom says made in Mexico, so it's not like it's old, but it's hella dog. I love this thing. Actually, I will show you since we've talked about it before. I'm being very careful because the last thing I want to do is drop it. But I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous. And I mean, look at how big it is, but except that it's totally fake, but it's absolutely beautiful. As I said, the bottom says made in Mexico. So I wish it were real. It's not, but it's absolutely beautiful. Putting this back, put the camera back. Oh. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, she's good. So I love that thing. Yeah, it's really pretty, isn't it? It's really pretty. But again, it's totally fake. What do you do? But it's totally, I think it's beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. So we used to call that the goddess of fertility. But no, it's some Mexican. You can tell the Aztec by the nose. It's still not, I mean, I'm sure it's a couple $100 piece or something. It's still a nice piece, but it's fake, so to speak. But it's very pretty. Yeah, I love that thing. And I've got a little pedestal. It was on a pedestal, so my brother-in-law painted it black, so it's very pretty now. Behind it? What do you mean behind it? There's nothing. Well, there's lots of stuff. I mean, the big, although it's hard to tell from here, but for you guys on TikTok, this thing For you guys on YouTube, it's this thing next to the baleen. You can't really tell from here, but it's from Mali, which I've been to. I didn't buy it in Mali, but it's from Mali, and it's folk art that is a modern take on these sort of votive animals. I think it's a antler. What do you call the big animal from the region that has the straight antlers going up? But anyway, it's very pretty. It's very cool. Sorbonne harder than Georgetown. Well, I mean, what ended up happening with Sorbonne is different, because what I ended up doing, I did the foreigner program at Sorbonne because I went to Paris. I didn't speak French when I went to Paris. I wanted a gazelle. It probably is a gazelle. Yeah. I wanted to study abroad, or an antelope or whatever. I wanted to study abroad, and I was going to go Spain because Spanish was my language. I studied it forever, but I really wanted to learn French. And I thought, this is my big, I already know a lot of Spanish. This is my big chance to learn French. And the appeal of living in Paris felt a lot more to me than living in Madrid. Madrid was, no offense, Spaniards, but Paris, right? So I applied to some programs. The programs thought I was crazy because they've never accepted anybody who didn't speak French. Like, you had to speak French before you go on a French study abroad program. I got them to agree that I was going to study. So that what I did was I took 1 semester of French, or 2. I forgot. I took 1 or 2 semesters of French in college. I think I took 1 really. And then I hired a tutor for the summer and then went to Paris. So yeah. So then I went, but so when I went to the Sorbonne, though, they tried to put me in the school, the regular Sorbonne, which is a big French school in Paris, very famous, in the French classes where they were studying philosophy and stuff with the French students. And I had 1 semester of French. I couldn't understand a damn thing. So they ended up putting me in there's a program for foreigners. It's the Cours de Civilisation Française at the Sorbonne. And it's where you study French history, French language, French grammar, French phonetics, literature, you name it. And that's what I did. So that was, it was hard, but it wasn't the French program, so to speak. Claro, Gustavo, hablo español, sí, te escucho siempre desde Colombia. ¿En serio? ¿Pero eres colombiano? Bueno, sí. Sí, hablo español. Bueno, sí, continúo en español. La otra gente no le gustaría, pero bueno. Como dije antes, no antes, pero en otros episodios que hago así, es bastante difícil hablar en otro idioma solo porque no estoy hablando con alguien. No hay alguien acá. Entonces es un poco difícil tener una conversación. See, I'm having a hard time now too because I just got back from Italy. So that speaking Spanish starts to mess me up a little bit now because I spent 2 weeks in Italy and I really was getting my Italian back. So I kind of want to speak Italian when I'm speaking Spanish, which is messing me up a little bit. My Spanish is better than that, but that was still decent. Yeah, my Spanish is great, but it's as I said, my Greek is okay. My Greek is just okay. Borola milisoalirica la then xero, then gnorizo por la pragmata or por la postolene, por la then thimama postolene. I was going to say many words, glosses, poles glosses. Alla then thimamatoso yeti then milao. So I haven't spoken in so long Greek. I sort of speak 5 languages, but my Greek is because I haven't spoken in so long. Pero español hablo bastante bien, muy bien, bueno, muy bien, pero como dije, es bastante difícil cuando no hay alguien acá conmigo, con lo cual puedo hablar. Y solo hablar con la cámara, con ustedes es un poco raro para mí, un poco más difícil, ¿no? So it's a little harder, as saying, to speak Spanish or another language when I'm just talking to the screen. I've got to converse with somebody for it to work better, But Greek with a Spanish accent? I don't even know. Was I doing a Spanish accent with my Greek? Ohi. Otamilao denica ejo postolene accent. Denk zero postolene accent. Accent hispanica, denk zero. A la borina in accent americanica. Aftoborina in ne. But no, my Spanish is very good. It's just rusty right now. Not rusty, but I've got to talk to you in Spanish. And as I said, my French, well, it's funny. comme j'ai dit, c'est un peu bizarre d'essayer de parler les autres langues quand il n'y a personne là. Bon, français, voilà. Et tu vois, mon français, c'est beaucoup plus facile pour moi, même de parler avec vous maintenant, voilà. Parce que mon français est la langue supérieure, bon, ma meilleure langue. Donc, c'est la langue qui bat contre les autres langues, c'est-à-dire. But again, I gotta do it. I've got to have somebody here to speak French with. I can't just do a monologue. You know what the problem is? When I'm doing, if I have a conversation in a language, it's easier. If I'm trying to do a monologue, it's as if I'm doing an interview. And that I find much more difficult. I can't just make up a sentence in French out of nowhere. You know what I mean? But if I'm like talking to you, then I can. Oh, my brother-in-law sent pictures. Does he have my boxes? Uh-oh. I see. He's got the boxes. Up, still on. Up, I'm gonna say still on show. Up, hold on. Of course, I can't type. My computer's going slow. Hold on. Measure. He's got the boxes. It looks like he rescued my stuff from UPS. Woo woo! Good for him. Good for him. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, I don't know that he verified the contents or not. I told him he probably should verify the contents, just because knowing these people, they could be giving me somebody else's boxes. L'oiseau est dans l'arbre. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? I mean, je sais que ce que ça veut dire, mais c'est une phrase spéciale pour une raison. I don't know. I'm going to use pirate. The one I liked in French was un bon vin blanc. Oh, un bon vin blanc. But I'm trying to think. Un bon vin blanc. So it's un vin. Yeah. And bon and blanc. Un bon vin blanc. I practice that one. There are 4 nasal vowels that are pronounced differently in French, but they're very close. So it's kind of a test of how you're supposed to pronounce them, to sort of get all of it pronounced correctly. But each vowel is supposed to be different. You know, I told you, we talked about this before. Okay, now we're getting into geeky French. If you don't speak French, it's not going to be fun. But I had this argument with a friend of mine in Paris who's very well educated, and he didn't believe me. And I'm very well educated, but I told him, I said, one of the things we learned in school was j'irai and j'irai. And again, I've never been told I'm wrong about this, so I think I'm right. I don't know, you Québécois, if we've talked about this before as well, but j'irai, like I will go, and j'irai, I would go. And I believe the would, what we had taught was I will is j'irai, like versus a. There's a larger a to it. So j'irai and j'irai. And my friend was like, my friend in Paris went, you're crazy. It's like absolutely crazy. But I think I believe I ended up being correct. So, but it is kind of geeky. If you don't speak French, then it's not going to be an interesting discussion to you. But I enjoy those kind of things. Like for the longest time, I had never learned in French to do the sort of liaison with like T's. Like, oh, I know what it was. A friend of mine, again, my French friends who speak very good French, and she said, j'ai trop aimé. And I was like, j'ai trop aimé? You're kidding me. Because I would always say, j'ai trop aimé. Like, I really liked something. I really loved something. And you're supposed to carry over the letter you don't pronounce normally. And I was like, j'ai trop aimé. So I try to do a little bit more of those now when I speak French, but it's not easy. Writing is a whole other problem in foreign languages. Yeah. Speaking, I can do. I speak much better in foreign languages than I write. Many people do it. Many people write better. Write better than they speak. Oh, the dog wants water. 1 second. All right, a little bit of water. Okay, a little bit of water. A little bit of water. But yeah, typically people write better than they speak. And I was like, you write better than you speak? Oh my God, I can't even imagine writing in a foreign language. Like, oh, that would be so freaking hard. But yeah, tenses are not easy. I mean, you write better than you speak. Most people do. It's not an easy thing. I've always found, I like to speak, obviously, and I have a skill for speaking. I've always found speaking much easier. Thank you, Renee, for the subscription. But yeah, so anyway. Well, I mean, sure. I would say speaking is also, I think, depends what you're using it for. I think speaking is a better skill, more practical, as Catherine said, right? Speaking a foreign language you can use. Writing it, what are you going to do writing unless you literally work in that language, what are you going to do writing it, right? For most of us, I go to Italy and I didn't have to write. I had to read Italian, but I can read it, right? But writing it correctly, I never had to write it. I had to be able to read it and I had to be able to speak it, you know? Beware of the stock discussion. We're not having those because they come across very spammy. So you better not post that again or they're going to block you. Just warning you. The plural word is pronounced differently depending on the number. Yes, I saw that video too. Although some people disagreed with her. If you read the comments, Gunther, some of the people in the comments were like, They were like, where the hell did you learn French? Yeah. A lot of the French people in the comments did not agree. They were saying like un œuf and des œufs for like eggs in French. But this woman was saying like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eggs. You pronounce eggs differently for each number. And a number of the French people in the comments went, no. So I don't know. Again, if we've got any French or Quebecois here, was the woman crazy or was she right? I mean, obviously 1 and 2 is different. Un œuf, des œufs. But 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, she was saying in certain cases, you say, what was she saying the different word was, Gunther? I'm forgetting. There's a different word or a different pronunciation, like for 6 versus 7. And again, the French people in the comments went, you're crazy, lady. So I don't know. Or whether her French friends were having fun with her is a possibility too. I love French. I like languages. Spanish is fun. French and Italian, I adore. And Greek, I enjoy Greek because I'm Greek. You know what I mean? But French and Spanish are fun French and Italian are fun to speak. Slappy, we did a quick Ukraine update a while ago. We did all the updates a while ago. Yeah. And yeah, writing in English, of course. But yes, I saw that video too, Gunther. That's very funny. Yeah. French are cheeky with their language. Well, the French take their language seriously. Well, the Académie does. The French at the center do. All right, guys. I think we're going to go. It's already 7:40 now. My homemade chocolate brownie awaits me. Warmed up, a little vanilla ice cream. Yay. And my new lights. Now that this is looking good though. I got 2 lights and I've got I was telling you guys, I got some fixtures for them. I had like canned lighting in a can, but the can hides the light. So I got little standalone fixtures where the light now stands. It's a floodlight, but it stands on the fixture. So it throws much more light. And as you can see, I've got it close to the wall behind the TV, so it now highlights the wall too. And then when you can see the blue up there. So it's kind of nice. I watch TV now and I've got a nice little glow at night, which makes me happy. Actually, you know what I had seen real quick? I was watching, it was a good TV show. Was it Confederacy of Witches? Were they calling it a Confederacy of Witches? Something of Witches. What was it? The name Confederacy, maybe? Very good. With what's his name, who's the British actor who's very good. And I'm forgetting the woman. I did not know her before. But the name of the place, the family, A Discovery of Witches. Thank you, Amanda, Poppy. A Discovery of Witches. Very good series. It's only like 2 years, but it's very good. But the name of the family home in France was Sept-Tours. And they were pronouncing it Sept-Tours. Like pronouncing set with the P. And I was looking at this going, are they all getting it wrong? Of course, they're French. They're English pretending to be French. I was like, are they all pronouncing it wrong? Or is this something I didn't know about, again, the liaison or whatever it is? Wouldn't it be Sept-Tours? Sept-Tours, right? Just a T. But they kept saying Sept-Tours. They were saying Sep with a P tour. And I'm like, that's not how you say it ever. But again, I forget if we have any of our, do we scare off all our French people here or our Quebecois? Anybody left? And then I'm going to sign off. Otherwise, we'll have to do it at the beginning of the show when we get more of the Francophone And it is late at night. Well, not for the Quebecois. You guys should still be with me. But for the French, it's getting a little late. Anybody or no? Otherwise, we'll have to remember that question another day, Gunther. Quebecois? Okay, so, I mean, is there any possible universe in which you would say sept tour? Because in the show, they said it was sept tour, 7 towers, right? And instead of saying sept tour, they said septour. And I was like, septour? Who says the P? Unless this is some liaison or whatever that I don't know. You never pronounce the P. Okay, Christine, right? Yeah. And I know you don't pronounce it, but even like as a liaison or whatever you call it, liaison or whatever you call it, with tour, you wouldn't say septour. You'd say septour, right? You just pronounce T. Anyway, in the show, they repeatedly said the P. And I was thank you. Okay. They kept saying the P. And I'm watching this going, why are you doing this? But especially, you'd think, and these are well-educated British people. One of them would have studied French and gone, that's not how you say it. But maybe as an actor, you're not supposed to say that. Yeah. Cette tour. Voilà. Voilà. Thank you. No, that's it. I was watching it. I will admit, having studied in Paris, I get a little snobby with my French. So I get a little annoyed when people make mistakes like that because I'm like, no, c'est pas ça. Well, I should say, ce n'est pas ça. But I get a little cocky with my foreign languages. But yeah, it was very strange. I'm like, anyway, I'll get it. But well-educated Brits, though, you'd think somebody would have studied French and gone, that's not how you say it. Or a TV show. Like somebody, anyway. C'est affreux. The pollen. I have not noticed the pollen yet, but I get allergy shots, so I tend not to get pollen reactions in the springtime anymore. I know actually, the other thing I don't like, we're going to go in a second, but I've talked to Damien because Damien used to work in Hollywood. Have you ever noticed in TV shows how they keep filling the cups with nothing? And literally, they take either a cup like this. I mean, of course, I have water in here, so I'm not going to. They take a cup like this or a cup like a styrofoam cup for coffee. And they'll take a styrofoam cup of coffee and they'll literally go like this. Like this is the styrofoam coffee. They'll go. And I'm like, if this is a cup of coffee, you don't go like this, right? Like this has liquid in it. You go like this because there's liquid in it. And you see them grabbing stuff all the time, the cup, and they go like this and drink. There's nothing in it. And I'm like, why would you not just put water in the damn cup? Because it looks, and again, I'm the only person on set, not even on set, who's watching these guys go, and you're like, or go like this with something. It looks ridiculous. Oh, anyway. No, it drives me crazy though. There's got to be some reason, like, well, when there's liquid in there, it can spill. There's some stupid reason they do this. But it drives me crazy. There's a prop guy on TikTok. Oh, does he talk about this stuff? Because again, it is my pet peeve is empty coffee cups. And they always are drinking nothing. And you can tell because they literally go like this. And you're like, it's coffee. You'd go like this, you know? Anyway. Yeah, Nike. The thing is, you don't get to be an anti-Semite in French on my show because je parle français. Salut, au revoir. We just got done talking about this. Boy, somebody decided to make some anti-Semitic comment in French as if they were going to get away with it. You're blocked. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Anyway. Unrealistic rain that only follows the stars. Oh, that's funny. That's very funny. That's funny. Well, first of all, the good actors should pretend. You should sit there and take it like there's liquid and kind of sip it, right? You don't go, I mean, like I said, big pet peeve of mine. Septour and drinking the liquid. All right. Anyway, the suitcase. I did see an empty suitcase the other day as well, which pissed me off. Yeah. Well, the grocery bags, they apparently put like just a couple things on top sticking out, but they grab the grocery bags and fly around like it's nothing, you know? Yeah. Anyway, it's very funny. Remember when on Game of Thrones, when they had the Starbucks cup in the background? That was a big mistake. That was pretty bad. So anyway, Corsican. I want to go to Corsica and Sardinia at some point. Both places I think would be fascinating, you know? Anyway, all right, guys, let's call it quits. We've been doing this for almost 2 hours, all right? I'm going to call it quits. Thank you for joining us tonight. Come by tomorrow if you are a paid monthly subscriber. TikTok, YouTube, Discord, 11 a.m. tomorrow. And that's everybody. And then Sunday for Jens, Dawn, and Arctic, and maybe a couple others. Sunday is our hangout for the $25 and up folks, or $24.99. Just a few, but we hang out anyway. So join us as well. 11 a.m. Eastern again. Yeah, Joey and friends. They were all very good. They were good. Anyway. So, well, don't blame me for the tariffs. I didn't vote for the guy, so I'm with you, Camille, but not my fault. He's horrible, and I've said it every day. So, all right. Have a good night, guys. Discord, I'll start with you as always. 1 second. Oops. Oop. There we go. Okay, Discord. Thank you, Discord. Have a good night. All right. Oh, actually, Discord might have been. I think we lost everybody on Discord anyway. Okay, YouTube, enough of you are still there. All right, YouTube, have a good night. TikTok, you're next. Boom. And then TikTok.